Hey, Dr. Franny Coe. I'm here with Zoe, my newest addition on the farm about 3 years ago. And this is Millie, who's about 12 years old. On the farm, you always have animals. You have dogs, you have cats, you have goats and sheep, and we do, and we have ducks and chickens. So what do we do with all these animals? We try to feed ourselves. We really work on growing healthy food and animals that have not been fed really bad stuff. So today I want to talk about many challenges we've learned over these 15 years, having the animals, having the garden. We've had lots of challenges. I grew up as a city girl. I did not grow up on a farm. I started gardening when I was 18 or 20, but never really got to garden a lot during that whole period. I did some and learned some different things, but I moved here and the challenges were way different. The soil here was chert. It had been farmed here on this 8 or 10 acres at least for close to 100 years. And I don't know all the processes that went on during that 100 years, but recently it's been drilled and the topsoil has not been added to very much. Corn and soybean was grown here. So we had challenges of no topsoil. We came to the lowest part of the farm near the creek where most of the topsoil that we could find was going to be. So we started mulching really heavily. When we started the mulching process, I got anything I could, old hay, anything anybody would give me that was free, and mulch. So I introduced hundreds of weed seeds immediately into my garden. I don't even know what kinds of grasses I put into my garden, but they definitely became a challenge. There were bunch grasses and probably, I don't know if fescue was part of it. I think it was because I got some of the hay from a farmer who cut his own hay, and it was probably a lot of fescue. So I did plant asparagus to begin with, and it choked out all my asparagus, and I had no asparagus. So we've since then really worked on mulching with other things that did not have weed seeds in it over these 15 years. So now I'm finally starting to grow asparagus and getting a whole lot less weeds when we do it. The next thing that I want to explain to people that mulching does is it was very, very hard pan soil. It was very compacted. Tractors had run over it, drilling in the corn and the soybean, and it's hard to grow things in really compacted soil. So when you actually mulch it, it literally only takes 2 to 3 years for the soil way underneath to absorb a whole lot more water. And I was able to watch this process over the 15 years, but actually in the very beginning, the creek would overflow and my whole garden would be flooded. But as soon as we started putting more mulch and mulching it and getting the soil in the ground a lot softer, the water just went way down into the ground and we had no flooding in the garden. I was amazed. I had read about that in California where they did it in Berkeley. So I was so excited. And they say by the 3rd year, you will absorb soil down to water down to 18 feet, which is incredible. So, and I can see that. Our garden never floods anymore. The water's absorbed into that rich organic matter. I have watched the mulch actually improve the hard pan soil within 2 or 3 months. We were putting a clothesline in up near our house, and I was going to have a garden there, so I had put some mulch down, hay, to make the garden, the soil a little bit softer, and I got a post hole digger to put in my clothesline. And Tim, my partner, said, "You're not going to be able to dig that soil. It's too hard." But I pulled that hay back and I dug a little post hole in a minute and a half. Because just in that short period of time, it had already softened that soil. It's amazing what mulch can do.